Welcome to the scare floor.
How do I become a scarer?
I'm officially a college student. Mike Wazowski.
James P. Sullivan.
Like Bill Sullivan?
He's my dad.
I expect big things from you.
I just need to ace my classes, graduate with honors, and become the greatest scarer ever.
What? Were you kissing my hand?
And what about you with all your shedding?
I don't shed.
Really?
The star player has just arrived.
You're my hero! Yeah! Slow down, Squirt.
This is a party for scare students.
I am a scare student.
I mean for scare students who actually, have a chance.
I have a confession to make. I never really cared for Revenge of the Nerds. I just watched that movie and just thought, I wish there were monsters in this. And lo and behold, Pixar has given me that film.
Yay!
Yay, yes. We're here, I am Aaron, and this is Michelle.
Hello.
And we're here today to talk about the sequel to 2001. Jesus Christ, can you believe that was 12 years ago? Fuck, that is a pain in the butt. That is... I don't want to think about that. But 2001's Monsters, Inc., Pixar's newest film, Monsters University.
It's actually a prequel, but...
Prequel, yeah,
yes.
You're right. Yeah. Which, that's one thing it's already got going against it. For some reason, people really hate prequels. I like prequels. I dig an origin story. But, I understand that a lot of people have problems with prequels. I'm surprised I got that out. People have problems with prequels because... they think, oh, well, I already know where this is going to end. I'm fine with that, typically, because I just like I'm about the journey, not the destination. But Monsters University is kind of an interesting prequel. First off, let's be honest, nobody was asking for the Monsters, Inc. prequel. They were all asking for the sequel, if anything. Because they were like, yeah, I want to see what happened to Boo and Kitty.
Yeah, but it's in a way, I think that'd be too much like Toy Story 3.
Yeah, very true. They did it with Toy Story 3.
Yeah, it's they already showed the little kid growing up and his friends having his quote friends as AKA the toys, or if it was a Monsters Inc. sequel, maybe a Sully learning to accept that. So
yeah, exactly. But for anyone who didn't see Monsters Inc., which I'll go ahead and say, I know it's not considered to be the best Pixar film, but it's my personal favorite.
It's my personal favorite too.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yes.
Oh. See, we're learning new things about each other on this show.
Hey.
Hey, all right. But yeah, I loved Monsters Inc., which it was about a world where monsters power everything in their society by the screams of children. So basically, they have to create doors that are portals to our dimension, and they sneak in to kids' rooms in the middle of the night, scare them. But it's not like they're malicious or anything. They're just regular guys, and in fact, they're scared of kids. They think kids are toxic and that they carry deadly diseases and that they'll eat you. So in a weird way, it's almost like survival for them, self-preservation. But in Monsters University, it takes the two main characters from that one, Mike Wazowski, who was played by John Goodman. No, wait, Mike Wazowski was the little guy played by Billy Crystal.
Yes.
And what's his name?
James P. Sullivan.
James P. Sullivan, or Sully, who was played by John Goodman. And in Monsters, Inc., it was mostly Sully's story. He was the protagonist, if either of the two of them were. In this one, it's Mike's story, because Mike... as a little kid, he gets inspired. He wants to be a scare. He wants to be the guy that goes into the human world and scares the kids. And this is one of the things that makes this an interesting prequel. Because for anybody who's seen Monsters Inc., I keep almost confusing them. For anybody who's seen Monsters Inc., he's not a scarer in that. He didn't end up doing that, so it's a weird, well, how are you going to do this? How do you have a guy going for his dream and we know he doesn't end up getting it? Or does he? Does he get that dream and we just don't realize it? It does raise questions about where this is going to end.
Yeah, it's I think it's also very interesting, it's also an important movie for kids to watch to show that things don't always happen the way you expect them to happen, but that doesn't mean you have to give up.
Yeah, it can still, it is really a story about, perseverance.
Yes.
And, if a road is blocked, you can find ways around it. Mm-hmm. But the story of this is that Mike goes to Monster University, the biggest monster college out there, and it is a college film. I mean, I was watching this going, crap, I miss college. This is what it was like, kind of. And he ends up meeting Sully, and Sully is just a slob. Sully isn't even trying. He was kind of like born into this business, and he's like, yeah, my dad was the best scare around. I don't care. But Mike has always had to work. Like, Mike is all book smarts. He knows everything about it. And the story is kind of like how the two of them sort of, like, get together. Like, they start off as enemies and start off as rivals. And eventually, I'm not going to say how, but for some reason, it is basically Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds, any of those college movies where basically the dean is a hard ass, and unless they can achieve a certain goal, they're going to be kicked off campus. And the goal in Monsters University is that they have to join a fraternity and participate in the Scare Games, which is like a big Olympic event for all the fraternities, where they go through a series of trials, all themed around proving how well they can be scarers. It's, like I said, when you break it completely down, it is, Animal House, it is Revenge of the Nerds, it's any of those 80s or 70s college movies, but we haven't had a good one of those in a long time, and this one is a good one of those.
Yes, I'm surprised I'm surprised Pixar was able to make a college movie without any references to drinking or sex or anything like that.
You're right, there's not even like a hint or a wink at any of that stuff. Like, at one point, Sully's playing kind of beer pong. But that's it, yeah, that's it. Like,
it's like, it just looks like regular ping pong in a way, but it's like, you don't even, like, see, like...
Well, yeah, anybody who's played beer pong is like, that's beer pong they're playing. But yeah, it is, you're right. It does get all that stuff from those 80s films without the sex or drinking, but those things were never they were part of them, but they were never necessary to the story. Like I said, they were always group of fraternity students, dean hates them, gotta do something. And also, there's the rich rival fraternity, which they totally have the rich rival fraternity in here, which is headed up by Nathan Fillion, who does the best pompous rich guy I have heard in a long time. It's so a parody of those old 80s fraternity movies that Nathan Fillion's character, Johnny, even has the little sniveling sidekick named Chet, which is the perfect 80s, like, second-in-command friend of the douchebag team name.
Johnny Worthington, president of Roar Omega Roar. What's your name, Big Blue?
Jimmy Sullivan. Friends call me Sully.
This guy's a Sullivan? Like the famous Sullivan? I can't believe it! That is crazy!
Chet, calm down.
I'm sorry.
Sully, any freshman with the guts to pull off a stunt like that has got future scarer written all over him.
Hey, did you see me ride the pig? That took guts.
Slow down, Squirt. This party is for scare students only.
Oh, sorry, killer, but you might want to hang out with someone a little more your speed. They look fun.
Oh, hey there. Want to join Uzma Kappa?
We have cake.
Go crazy.
But yeah, so Mike and Sully, they start off as rivals, but they are forced to both compete in the Scare Games, and the only fraternity that will take them is Uzma Kappa. And Uzma Kappa is...
Yeah, Uzma Kappa only took Mikey because... Sully didn't have good test scores. That's why he got kicked out of the original fraternity of Roar.
Yeah, one of them, as we said, Mike is all knowledge, Sully is all body.
Talent,
yeah, like natural, unprocessed talent. But yeah, so anyway, they both end up joining this fraternity, Uzma Kappa, which is really they're the outcast. They're the there's a word I'm trying to think of, but screw it. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the
it's
misfits.
the same. Yeah, in any of these, Revenge of the Nerd. It's the Revenge of the Nerd fraternity, is what it is. It's any of these 80s movies. You know what I'm trying to say. It is that fraternity, the fraternity that the dean is like, how are they still on campus, and none of the other fraternities like them, and the rich ones are like, oh, well, look down on you. It's that fraternity. And it's got a great, colorful cast of characters in there. That's one of the things about Pixar films, is that, DreamWorks, they always go for the big names. Mm-hmm. But Pixar will go for smaller names who just really fit the roles. And yeah,
the main cast is like the two main characters are pretty big, but they do fit the roles.
They do, exactly. They fit the roles. But yeah, when it comes to the other members of the fraternity, you had Squishy, who is, the name implies who he is, who is the little guy played by Peter Son, who's mostly a voice actor. But then after that, you have Don, who is the old guy, the old guy in his 40s or 50s who decides to return to college after all these years.
I'm just imagining a Monsters version of Community.
It's kind of, I'm shocked they haven't done that episode yet. But Don's played by Joel oh, were you trying to go for Pierce on that one? Yeah, you're right. That does fit. But then you've got Don, as I said, and he's played by Joel Murray, Bill Murray's brother. Who does this great, Midwestern, oh gosh, oh golly gee there, voice the whole time. Then you've got Terry and Terry, two twins who share the same body. They're just two-headed monsters.
Yes.
One character played by Sean Hayes, who is playing Sean Hayes, and the other one played by Dave Foley, who is playing Dave Foley, annoyed at Sean Hayes. And then my personal favorite was Art, who is played by Charlie Day. And Charlie Day is Always Sunny in Philadelphia fame. Whenever you see him, he's always playing Charlie Day and everything. Here he is playing a total hippie, and it really works. He was absolutely the right choice for the character of Art. But yeah, that's not the only great voice casting that they did in this. You've got Alfred Molina as their teacher, as the headmistress of the whole school. You've got Helen Mirren, who most of the monsters kind of have a similar design to her, but she is considered to be the biggest, baddest scare of all time. Mm-hmm. And she's got this half dragon, half centipede look going to her.
She's got a badass look.
Yeah. And then let's see, we've also got as the two people running the scare games. You've got Aubrey Plaza and Tyler Labine, which that's an interesting combination if you've ever seen that. But yeah, just going back to the character designs, I really dug them in this. In the original Monsters Inc., they seem to be far more all over the place. But in this one, they really seem... Whoever designed the monsters for this one definitely went to the Jim Henson School of Monster Creation. I mean, Art. Art, I'm positive, came from an old
Muppet.
An old Muppet skit, yeah. Yeah, because he is this walking Slinky.
A furry Slinky, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, you've seen those old Muppet skits. They've done that. But, I mean, it works in this. Like I said, they all have a very unified look to them, except for Helen Mirren's character, the teacher. But
she's supposed to look,
exactly.
Very scary.
It makes her stand out a whole lot
more.
I really enjoyed that. The thing I was really worried about going into this movie would be that Pixar for a while now, I hate saying, has kind of just been doing a lot of sequels, and it seems like they're doing more of almost a money grab, almost I mean, Cars 2. Everybody knows Cars 2, but when you look at how many other sequels they've been doing, even the good ones, it's kind of worrying me. So when I heard about Monsters University, I was worried that was this going to be kind of like Cars 2, just a money grab, almost like Disney was telling them, you got to make, these Mike and Sully dolls sell a lot, so you got to bring it back. You know what? That may have been the reason why this movie got made, but it's a good movie. Mm-hmm. I was genuinely laughing throughout many parts of this film. I was having a real good time with it. There's, like I said, the character of Art, played by Charlie Day, I was expecting to get tired of him at any moment, because he's played by Charlie Day. I found every line of his incredibly funny.
Yeah, it's for the... Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It's the first the Monsters Inc. It's there was a lot of heart and warmth to it, a lot of tear jerking moments too. And I was kind of skeptical about the prequel because I'm not expecting heartwarming stuff from a college movie, but it was still very enjoyable and it's still very cute. So.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people were kind of oh, well, unlike most other Pixar films, this one never made me cry. But you're right, halfway through this movie, you kind of realize this isn't going to make you cry because it's trying to be a college movie, and it's a darn good college movie.
Yes, and it's and there are actually some very sweet moments, when Mike and Sully are bonding and everything. It's not enough to make you sad or to get you teary-eyed, but it's enough to make you go, aw,
Exactly. I was really kind of worried of it's oh god, we're gonna be doing this now. We're gonna see, oh, they didn't like each other at first, and then they learned to like each other. We've seen that 1,000 times. This is very believable.
Yes.
Like, the bonding between them is incredibly well written and very well acted between the two, between Billy Crystal and John Goodman. I mean, it is actually really fun watching them go from, like, not wanting anything to do with each other to, even if it's through, like, the course of a montage, it's a damn good montage when you see them bonding. And, yeah, like I said, I wasn't crying at any part of it, but towards the end of the movie, when it got to the really sappy parts, there were a lot of sniffles coming from all directions around me. I mean, it was touching that audience heart. And this is also, basically, I would almost say that this is like if DreamWorks sold the Monsters, Inc. license. I'm sorry, it's almost like if Pixar sold the Monsters, Inc. license off to DreamWorks. Because DreamWorks, to me, is known for two things. It's known for just being funny, but being good funny, 9 times out of 10, at least now. And just having incredibly well choreographed and well done animation. And I love the animation in this. Like, there are moments where, you know, like, during the scary games, they have to go up and do a whole bunch of scares onto these children. It's like seeing every single monster use their different abilities in these environments and, you know, like, maneuver around specific stuff is incredibly detailed and creative, the way that they have these monsters moving. I'm trying not to give away too much, but, like, you know, the way that the two-headed character moves is totally his own way, or, like, Art, like, rolling up in a ball and jumping around.
Or Don.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don, like, clinging to ceilings because he's got, like, tentacle arms is very well animated. Everything is incredibly well animated in this. And I really enjoy the pacing of this film, too, because it gets to a point in which you say, oh, wait, was that all there was to it? Oh, that didn't really affect me as much as I thought it would. And then it keeps going. Then it keeps going and goes, oh, well, now's the moment where you're going to get affected. I was like, dang, that was good. And, you know, yeah, we were talking kind of about the message of this film. I don't want to say what the message of the film is, but it's a message that I'm still, like, trying to process because it's so different, the message it tries to teach kids, from all other animated films. Because all other animated films are basically have that one message of, I don't want to say too much because it totally gives away the ending. But most animated films have, like, a specific message, and this one goes very much against it, but in the same way is more uplifting because it's so realistic and still positive.
Yeah, it's like, there's actually, like, several messages. Like, they're not, like, it's not, like, a big, noticeable message, like, in previous Pixar movies, but there's, like, little messages here and there. It's like, oh, okay, so, yeah. Yeah,
you're very right. Just a few things. We've been mostly speaking positive. I'll say a few of the negatives I have about are just, I felt like it was trying a little too hard to wink at the previous film, like, kind of like make reference to, I guess, like, when Mike initially moves in, his roommate is not Sully, it's,
Randall.
Randall, yeah, Steve Buscemi, playing Steve Buscemi, and
I kind of wish Randall had, like, a bigger part, since...
Yeah, Randall
like,
doesn't have that much to do in this. I know people are expecting that, but...
Yeah, it's like... I don't know, like, I don't know what to say that won't give away too much, but yeah, he's there, he just doesn't have that big of a part. But,
he's there, and yeah, exactly. But, yeah, like, when he first moves in with Randall goes, I can tell we're going to be best friends, and I was like, you know goddamn well you're not going to be. We all saw the first movie. It's like, I know what they were trying to do there, but that was, like, a little cheap. And, you know, they'll have other characters from the first one just show up for a second just to say, like, a line that they had in the previous one. And I felt that kind of weakened it a little bit. It's not a lot. It's not like it's hammering you over the head with it. But there's, like, 3 or 4 moments like that in the film that I didn't particularly care for myself.
And it's like, there's actually, like, one callback that I did enjoy. That was in the beginning, like, when little Mike and his friends were on the field trip to Monsters, Inc., and they see the scares coming at them in slow motion. They did that.
Oh, that was nice. That was
yes,
nice.
They did that in the first movie, too, so...
That was one I liked. I didn't even count that in my head, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like if it's a subliminal, like, nod to the first movie, it's cool. But if it's, like, a little too forward, then it's like, you know.
And also, I'll say this as kind of a warning to anyone trying to decide how to go to it. I recently mentioned on a podcast we did that did not get published, so none of you people heard it. But I was mentioning that 3D is going to be around forever because every single animated film that comes out is making use of 3D. They're all using it.
Oh, most of them.
Yeah, this one doesn't really do that. Like, we saw it in 3D, and like, the ending credits are really cool in 3D, and, like, there's one moment where you see some monsters fly, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's like they are right in front of me. Aside from that, there is never a moment in this film where they're, like, purposely using the 3D. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it makes it look prettier, but I don't really think it's worth going and seeing this in 3D. Like, you know, up here in New York, we saw this at a matinee, you know, before noon, which meant that it was like $12 for 3D, which is $1 cheaper, which is basically the exact same price as a regular movie at regular hours. But if you want to see it in 3D at regular hours in New York, it's $18. And I would have walked out of this, I'm not gonna lie, if I had paid $18 for this and walked out, I would have been like, God damn, this 3D was bad. But, you know, just seeing it normal at, like, the matinee price in 3D, I was like, oh, that was pretty, but it's not necessary. If you're trying to decide whether or not to see this in 2D or 3D, it's not, you know, if it's only playing in 3D, that's fine. But if it's not, I'd say 2D myself. Just simply because it's not, they don't do anything with it, I don't think.
Did you want to talk about the short in front of it? Or?
Oh, sure, yeah, they do actually, you're right, there is one thing that the 3D is good for. Pixar does put out another short before this one.
Yes.
What was it called?
It was called The Blue Umbrella.
Yeah, and yeah, just tell them about that.
Like, basically, like, it's very interesting. It's like a combination of live action and, like, you know, CGI and everything.
I was trying to tell if it was, yeah.
Yeah, it's like... It's like, if it wasn't, like, live action, that's, like, the best damn CGI I've ever seen.
It's incredible if it wasn't, yeah. But, yeah, it's...
Basically, like, yeah, it's like, it's about a blue umbrella, and he falls in love with a red umbrella, and he tries to, like, get to her and everything, so...
Yeah, and it's basically, it's not like, you know, a world of umbrellas. It's, you know, it is just a bunch of people.
It's the real world, but they have, like, faces on the umbrellas, and they actually have, like, faces on the buildings and signs, too, like... Yes.
Every non-human thing has a face on and is alive. And...
Yeah, and it's cute the way they do it. Like, you know how sometimes if you look, like, at a manhole cover, like, you see, like, it sort of looks like a face is looking at you? Yeah, they actually, like... turn that into a face. That's actually they actually like use the little designs on the signs and the buildings that look like faces and actually animated them and made them faces. They don't move much. They don't even talk. But I think that's like what makes it like really nice and very very nice. Like, just very subliminal, just enough to like just enough to like show emotion and like tell a story and everything. So
yeah, exactly. It's incredible. It is one of those things that shows. It reminded me a lot of Paperman.
Yeah.
From last year. Yeah, it's one of those things that shows what you can do with no audio, with no dialogue being spoken. But yeah, so Monsters University, I really enjoyed it. You got any favorite designs while we're talking? I meant to ask you when we were talking about the character designs.
Well, like I said before, I really like the Dean. It's like, she definitely, like, stands out, but it's like...
Yeah, and Helen Mirren has the perfect,
yes.
What I love is that they did not turn the Dean into a villain. The Dean is not a villain.
She's just a hard ass.
Yeah, she is I'd say she's even nicer than the Deans in any of those old movies. Because, yeah, Dean Wernstrom, or whatever his name was, from Animal House, was a total villain. He was totally just, Animal House, I will make sure you get kicked out of this establishment. And here, she just is like, if you ain't up to it, I ain't gonna coddle you. I ain't gonna tell you can do it. Unless if you are only at 99%, you are failed. You're out. Yeah, she is just a pure hard ass. So I really enjoyed the Dean.
Scariness is the true measure of a monster. If you're not scary, what kind of a monster are you? It's my job to make great students greater, not make mediocre students less mediocre. That is why, at the end of the semester, there will be a final exam. Fail that exam, and you are out of the scaring program. So, I should hope you're all properly inspired.
My favorite, I wish they had done a little bit more with him, but it's Tyler Levine's character. They have, like I said, they've got, oh shit, what was her name? I said earlier, but I totally forgot. They've got Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec fame, and Tyler Labine as the two people hosting these scare games. And I love the designs of both of them. Like, Tyler Labine is a big football jock with big horns and, like, a bird beak. And she has got, like, Aubrey Plaza has got giant buck teeth. And also, like, feathers, but the feathers are, like, forming a skirt around it.
I really like that design.
That
that's
was a
cute
cool
too.
one. I love that design. But yeah, and also, like, every single one of the other fraternities, like, there are 5 fraternities in here competing. Every single one of them has their own theme. Like, there's the goth one. There's the jocks, the cheerleaders. I wish I had seen more of, like, the 5th one. I can't even remember them because they're, like, one of the first eliminated. But I can't remember them. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film. I'm going to give it a high 4 stars. I like this so much more than I was expecting to.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Yes, I'd have to give it the same, like, high 4 stars.
High 4 stars, alright.
I was going to say, like, 5 4 stars, like, wait, what?
5 4 stars? You gave it 20 stars. That's how much you like this movie. I want that on the poster, like Michelle Bard of Pupcast.com. 20 stars and put all of them on there.
No, it's just like 5 times 4 stars and just
That's
have
20.
Like, no, it'd be like written like 5 times 4 and then like you just like have 20 stars all around. So
I like it. If we give enough movies really high stars, will we start getting on posters?
Hey, I want a piece of that action.
Tentacles and serpents' wings, they...
Can't wait to start scaring with you, brothers.
We're gonna rip you to pieces!
Don't go in there. Have fun, kids. I'll just be here listening to my tunes.